Hello YouTube friends, I'm Norma. Today I'm stepping away from the Harry Potter jigsaw for a few hours. I'm going to do a different jigsaw. All of these parts here will make up a beehive. I have beehives, but about 2 years ago, I'll just let Norma out. Go on, darling, out you go. Go on. About 2 years ago, one of the online beekeeping supply people were having a sale, and a kit for a beehive was a very, very good price indeed. Now, I've got beehives, but they do deteriorate over time, and it's a nice-ish day today, but very soon there's going to be a day where I do a huge amount of my first inspection of the year, which I'm not doing yet. It's not warm enough to do that yet. But my thinking is that if I can discover what all these are for, I should be able to do it, because I've got beehives. I've got beehives like this one. So if I'm a bit stuck, I can go out and have a look and see what they're supposed to look like. This is a good opportunity, isn't it, with this enforced isolation. I mean, it's not greatly different from how I live my life, but isn't it funny when you're told you can't do something, you immediately want to? So I'm going to try now and work out what goes where with this beehive, and then I'm going to find the primer in the shed. Fingers crossed that I've got some primer. I'm going to prime it all, and after that I'm going to see what colour I could paint it, because I'd quite like it to be a really nice colour. I have beehives at the moment that are sort of a lilac colour and teal, and they're very subtle. This one might not be quite so subtle, but we'll see. I'll get it primed first. Well, first of all, biggest task is I'll get it sorted out so that I can find out what's what. I'm going to do that now. And you get to come along with me. Well, it's several hours later now, and so much for spending a few minutes doing this and an hour doing that. I've been doing this all day long, all day. I'll show you in a minute, because I've finished knocking all the wood together. It's a kit, and so all the pieces should fit together really well. I found a YouTube video, followed it what I thought was to the letter. And then these are the frames that go inside the beehive, and I'm putting these together at the moment. And I made the first one up confidently expecting it would fit in, and I popped it in, it didn't fit. And so I looked at it and I thought, well, this was an expensive kit. I bought it a couple of years ago when it was in the sale, but even so, it's an expensive kit, and it looked like it was just so much firewood, because I couldn't make it fit at all. So I took stock of what I'd done. Basically, these frames just wouldn't fit in. There was it was too narrow. So I looked at it, and I was on the verge of leaving it and getting on to do some gardening or to tidy up in here or wash up or something like that. But then I thought, no, I'll ask for help. Now, on Facebook, which I don't use, I use it for a couple of things, and this is one of the things I use it for. I belong to 2 or 3 beekeeping forums, fora, which is the correct plural for forum. I belong to the local beekeeping forum. I belong to a discussion group that is run by someone that I'm a patron of. And I belong to the National Beekeepers Association on Facebook. So I took some pictures of what was, a couple of photographs of what I thought I'd done wrong or didn't know what I'd done wrong. And I thought I'll post it onto one of these groups. And I thought, which one am I going to post it on? In the end, I posted it on the National Beekeepers Association forum. And I said, I've done something wrong here, guys. This is the same, it's all from the same kit, because the first 10 answers were all, oh, you've got Smith frames and a National Hive body. No, I haven't. It's all from the same kit. Beekeepers, once they get going, I've had so many replies. We've solved the problem. There's a thing that says, ask 10 beekeepers a question and get 11 answers. It's pretty much what happened. So the first 2 or 3 were, you've got the wrong frames for I said, no, it's the same kit. They wouldn't give me different frames, would they? Would they? No, they wouldn't. One person just wrote, you've done something wrong. And I replied, you don't say. Anyway, the chat went on. And then a very helpful guy called Stephen, no idea who any of these people are, he took a little video of one of his beehive boxes, empty ones, and he said, I think this is what you've done. I think you've put this piece that way and it should be that way. Well, when I looked at the boxes, he was right. That's exactly what I'd done. But I'm a girl, you know. I haven't got kit. I haven't got woodworking kit. I've got a hammer. In fact, I've got 2 hammers. I've got a hammer and I've got a screwdriver and I've got a pair of pliers. So using these various things, I sort of dug the nails out because I really nailed them in well. I dug them out, shifted the thing around, nailed it all back together again. Oh, there's one more comment that before I tell you how successful I was at doing this, it looks a mess, but it's right now. And one bloke, I can't find his comment now because there's so many, and he just said, you have to scrap it, that's firewood now. Now, I only need someone to tell me something like that where I think, no, it isn't. I'm going to sort this out. So I have sorted it out. I have sorted it out. And it looks great. I'll show you some pictures of it. It's for, Prudence. Come on. Go on, you get in there if you want to. Come on. No bees in it yet. It's just so that I can replace some of the beehives that are looking a little bit rotten, a little bit worse for wear that are down there. And I thought that I might be painting it today. Nowhere near painting it today. I'm just going to be assembling it. So it's, I'll show you. I mean, it doesn't look very exciting, does it? But there, you see, this is the problem that I had, was that this internal space was too narrow, and it was because I'd put this piece on upside down. Well, there are 3 boxes like this, and I'd put 6 pieces on upside down. That one as well, there, and also another one on the floor. So I put all the runners on and everything, and I, you know, it's boring. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. But now I'm making these frames, and these are the frames that the bees, they draw out the comb so that it looks like this. This is a drawn out comb. Can you see the difference? That one's really flat, and this one the bees have drawn out. And they draw out I'll turn the camera. They draw out this wax foundation, it's called, and you buy this ready pressed like this with wire in it. And then the queen bee lays her eggs in those cells, not in these cells. It's slightly different, but so look at that. It's cool, isn't it? This is the one that they store the honey in, though. This isn't. I won't get too complicated because I could get really into this and tell you all about the different kinds of frames and boxes and so on. However, this bigger frame. This is called a brood frame because that's the brood chamber that I've made over there. And it's what you would think it is if it's brood. It's where the queen, once the workers have drawn all these cells out to the right size, she lays all the eggs in there, then caps them over and they become worker bees. And they're busy doing that at the moment, I think. So what I thought I would do, because there's 11 of these for each box, so I've got 33 of these to make. I don't desperately need it, because I have got some other capacity out in the shed. I've got some other boxes and frames and things, but I did want to paint this one. I don't know what colour. I've got a colour in my head that I might, if I have the paint for it, I might do, but it could be any colour. I just like it to be a pretty colour. The bees don't care what colour it is. So what I thought I would do, I thought I would assemble one of these frames so that you can see, if you're interested. If you're not interested, then come back and we'll take care tomorrow. But what I thought I would do just now is I will show you, I'll take these out because that's not what they're supposed to look like. Whoopsie daisy. I'll show you how I make a frame that will look like this. I'll fast forward all the nail banging bits. So it's all in kit form. I think you can see all right there, can't you? Now, this is the top bar then. That's the bit that you pull in and out of the hive. So you need these two ends here, which is what you hold on to. And then you build the frame underneath this. So I have two side pieces, like so, which got a little groove in them. And they fit in there like that. Okay. And then I have two little tiny pieces, thin pieces, and they fit in here. So I'm just going to push everything in place just now. And sometimes you need a little bit of a hammer just to sort of... And it's important to get those bits flush there. But then there's a second one of these, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'll just pop that in there. Like that. I'll just check that those are flush there. Then I've got some little tiny nails, and I'm going to put a nail, I'll show you, there, there, there and there. I'm going to put 4 nails in, so we'll go fast on this bit. You don't need to watch me doing this. We can if you like. Nail here, nail here. So the frame's all beautifully nailed together now. But now we need to get this piece of wax foundation in. Now this is how you buy it. It's been pressed, it's been melted, it's beeswax, it's melted down and then pressed into the shape of the hexagon. It's very clever. On one side, the hexagon's printed, and then on the other side, they offset it so that there's no strain on the, so that it's very clever. But it's got wire in it to give it stability. You can see the wire running through it, can't you? And so the wire then has got these little 2 at the top and 3 at this end here. Now, we get those nice and straight. And what I need to do is one more thing I need to do that I haven't done yet. This part of the frame here is loose, and so you need to click it out like that. It comes out really easily, and then I just get a scalpel and run it along just to make sure there aren't any loose bits of splinters of wood. Just de-splinter that a bit. There we go. Now, this is the exciting bit. I think it is. I've got 33 of these to make. So there's a little gap here, okay? So if I've made this correctly, this should just slide in perfectly here with the 3 bits facing downwards like that. 1, 2, 3. That should just slot into there. It's a bit fiddly to start with, and you must get it straight, but that should just go down the little side grooves here. It should just slot into place. And as it's going down, you just press the 3 little pieces of wire up like that. down it goes. Make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom of the, well, it's the top actually, because it's that way up. And then the 3 bits of wire, 1, 2, 3, that are now here on that part of the wood there, the bit that we just clicked out with the screwdriver, I'm just going to pop that back inside there, and then with a pencil I'm just going to mark. So imagine, so you've got the little cleats of wire there, and I want to get a nail right through there. So in order to know where they are, I'm going to put a little mark there, there, and there with my pencil. Now, this is where it's very helpful not to have your dining table. This is the scrappiest old table, and I can do all sorts of fantastic jobs on here, including hammering nails. So I need 3 nails. I'm going to do some hammering again now. This is the trickiest hammering, because you've got to try and hammer it in at a bit of an angle. What do you think, Prudence? Hammering again. This is hard, this bit. This is why the really small hammer's good. I just hammer it in until it's in the wood, on the pencil mark. It's come out. This is so tricky, this bit. It really is. But at least I can do it. It just takes a little bit of... That one's purchased there now. It's not great wood, it's just soft wood. It's not brilliant wood, but it's perfect for this job. Oh, that's actually gone into the table. Oh, quite a way. Not your mother's best dining table, this one. Well, I don't need that to be like that. I need that to be flat. Oh, which way round was it? That way round. Now, a 50-50 chance of getting that right, wasn't there? Now what I need to do is nail those home at a slight angle without damaging this, which is very, very soft. It's tricky. I'm going to give it a try. You know I can do it because I've done all those over there. I'm just building up the tension. Brood frame made. That's it. These don't need painting or finishing in any way. They really only last like 1 or 2 seasons, and because they're made out of very cheap wood. And once the bees have pulled the wax out to make the frame, I'm going to show you this one again, even though it's a smaller frame. This is the one they store the honey in. This is the one that the queen bee lays eggs in. But once they're drawn out like this and have had honey extracted from them, you can put them back in for the bees, maybe once, twice, but then after that you've got to just sort of cut them out, and either sometimes beekeepers burn them because they're not hard to make and they're not expensive to buy. They're pretty cheap, and it's one of the jobs beekeepers do at this time of year, make frames. Frames that actually fit in your hive. So the next job then is to decide, first of all, whether I am going to paint it. I mean, even if I don't paint it, I'll have to preserve it with something. So it'll have to be covered with something. And so I think I might prime it. But not today, because this is another pack, and I've got 2 of these, of frames to make up. and I'm not sure. I might keep going. I'll finish these big ones for the brood box, which is the big box. And if I make the smaller ones, then that might be another a job for another day. So it's been, I haven't intended to spend the day with wood and bee stuff. But once I started asking the Beekeepers Forum and I started getting all these answers in, I thought, oh, they're all interested in the outcome now. I think I better carry on. So I carried on. I'm going to put this little video together for you now. It's a bit of a weird one today, but I'm going to tack this on the end for those of you who are still watching. Last night here in the UK, today's Tuesday, and Monday night, our Prime Minister, I can't say his name, I can't stand the man, but our Prime Minister did a press briefing, which was about the most serious thing this country's heard in many, many, many years. And it was the guidelines about total lockdown in all but the most essential of services. So the joinery workshop where my son works, that's closed. The bakery where my daughter works, one of the bakeries says she has two, and they've closed the in-town one because it's so tiny. There was no way that anybody could be far enough apart from each other to work. The other shop's huge, and so it might be that one or two people could work in there and socially distance and still make bread for people. I think I've mentioned that Anna is teaching on FaceTime or Skype. So everything's changed. Everything's changed dramatically from last night. And so it feels different now. It feels really important, more than ever, that we distance ourselves and isolate ourselves from other people. So I've had a long conversation with a friend of mine, who's the friend that I usually buy the seeds with. This time of year, we usually get together and do a joint seed order. It's not going to happen this year, but we'll be fine. We'll still manage to grow things in our gardens from whatever it is we've got still. And so I've had my social contact. I had an hour with my jigsaw this morning, and so that was nice. But so the vet, I'm supposed to take Rita to the vet tomorrow, just so that the vet can say, yes, she's fine now. Those antibiotics have really worked for her and she's okay. Don't need to do that. I can tell that Rita's okay. Cat Rita. Girl Rita's okay as well. Everyone's okay. Everyone's okay because we're all taking good measures to take care of our physical and mental health. That's what we're doing. And try and keep busy. I mean, today I've been just a little tiny bit too busy with wood. If I hadn't got it wrong, though, I'd have finished it hours ago. But actually getting it wrong was quite amusing, because I did engage with some quite interesting people on the forum. Anyway, guys, it feels very very much like it's changed here in the UK just overnight, and but I still think that we've got plenty to be optimistic about. The friend I was talking to with who we aren't going to do the seed order, I was talking to her and she was talking, agreeing with me that what we need is imagination. We need imagination. We also need compassion for one another. I'm living on my own here, I'm all right. But if you're holed up with somebody that, you're not used to being with 24/7, it's quite different for you, isn't it? But for me, I think what we need is imagination. And so getting this beehive out today and making a complete pig's ear of it, but then getting it back on track again, means that I feel very satisfied. Anyway, that's longer than my videos usually are on these little taking care videos. So I'm just going to say, I can see you down there on the lime green sofa. I can see you. There's some fantastic snacks turning up. really, really lovely things. And there's also some very creative, imaginative things going on down there. So hop down to the comments, which is also where it's all happening. Say hi to one another, support one another, and be sociable. You don't have to socially isolate in the comments. I'll see you next time, guys. And in the meantime, take care.